Solid start. That was The Cult with their 1989 smash hit, Firewoman. You're listening to Radio Winterfold. We are broadcasting live from our school, Winterfold House, in the heart of Worcestershire, on this, our open day. Welcome to you all. My name is Claudia.
I'm Ed. I'm Felix.
I'm Mez.
And I'm Lily. And we will be your hosts for the next couple of hours. This morning we will be taking you on a musical adventure with some of the greatest tunes ever written, according to Mr. Lowton, that is, and broadening everyone's musical horizons.
We will be exploring what is going on around the school this morning, all activities and lessons that are aware with the best find the best donuts.
I'm back with Winterfold's weird and wonderful world of wow. Whoa. Wow. Where I will be telling you some things that will make you go wow. This week, it's all about the sea.
We will have interviews with staff and pupils, and you can learn about some of the charity work that goes on here at Winterfold.
While you are with us, you may as well learn something, so as well as what great music sounds like, we will be launching some new features such as Every Second Counts, Riddle Me This, RockBusters and Did You Know?
There is a lot to fit in as well as some great music, so let's get started. So here we go. Well, a big welcome to those joining us online, a special welcome to those joining us in person at our open day. Thank you for coming. Here is a little preview as what you can expect from us here at Winterfold this morning. Let's start in the lecture block. If you head over to the science lab, you will find Mr. McCracken. He will be with Year 7 demonstrating the best of biology, chemistry and physics. If you fancy seeing a Van de Graaff generator in action or using microscopes to observe and draw insects, then head that way. Upstairs, Mr. Bates will be in F5 with some Year 4 mathematicians doing all things numerical. Down the corridor, Miss Howard is our head of RE and will be making wanted posters for Cain of Abel fame.
Go a little further and you'll find Mrs. Bolton with some Year 4 geographers who will be studying Pompeii and creating newspaper articles to recount what they have learned. And Mrs. Stark will be with mapping local hostelries in a history session before she heads off to direct a Mary Poppins rehearsal. On your way out of the lecture block, why not drop into the CD2 room to find out what Mr. Jackson and Year 8 are up to? Over at the PAC, our Performing Arts Centre, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m, you'll find Mr. Price and the Groove Diggers practicing up for upcoming concerts, including our famous summer concert in the Sports Hall, where the children perform in front of over 600 people. From 11 a.m, our cast of Mary Poppins will be in full rehearsal mode as they prepare for the summer production. It promised to be super califragilisticexpialidocious.
If it's the great outdoors your thing, head on over to Mrs. Miles and Mrs. Chatton up in our dedicated forest school area, who will be accompanied by Year 7 and Year 8 will undoubtedly be brewing some lovely hot chocolate alongside all things forest school. Outside you can find Mr. Shaw and the Greenfield gardeners, and you will be more than happy to tell you about the things that they get on up to growing produce for us to eat, help gardening at the local care homes and all other wholesome activities that is bespoken club involves.
Any budding Olympians amongst you, or even just keen amateurs? We have something for everyone over in the sports hall with Mr. Brinkley and Miss Whitcomb, who will be with Year 5 doing all things sporty. Madame Frel and her budding René à Toi will be hosting the French Cafe up in the dining hall, where you can refresh yourself with a range of beverages and some slightly naughty treats. Don't worry, we won't tell anyone. Brush up on your language skills though, as our year 8s are pretty chatty and don't always use English to speak in.
For those of us with tiny tots, take a stroll down to our pre-prep, where you will find our pre-prep staff willing to talk you about the early years curriculum and how they will feed you into the rest of the school. Miss Jones will be in year 2, Miss Williams will be, and Miss Gill Martin will be in year 1 to answer any questions you might have. Come and see Miss Langston in the library to discuss learning support we offer here at Winterfold. And finally, if you would like to see where this radio magic is coming from, please pop up to the studio, the beating heart of Radio Winterfold, where you will find us. We are broadcasting here live and keeping you company wherever you are. Please bring donuts.
So that is a little taste of what is going on this morning. We hope you enjoy your visit. Please ask lots of questions and enjoy exploring what Winterfold has to offer. Remember, there's only one way, the Winterfold way.
Right on with the music. This is an absolute belter!
40 days in the rain, 40 nights.
You've just heard Hit Me More, Really Wild Child and Hard Sun.
Right, on with one of our new features, Every Second Counts.
And here's your host for Every Second Counts,
Claudia Sheffield!
You know who the first man on the moon was? Neil Armstrong? Correct, but who was the second?
Buzz Aldrin.
Okay, that was an easy one. How about this? Did you know that the second man to swim the channel drank 20 drops of champagne every hour? Or that the second crew to land on the moon danced to a pop song in zero gravity? Or that the second man to run a sub 4 minute mile once stopped to trek on a fallen rival but still managed to win the race? You probably didn't, because seconds never get the attention they deserve.
Well, this feature is all about the people and the things who, until now, have been kept in the shadow of firsts. Will glory in the achievements of nearly men and nearly women, not to mention the nearly skyscrapers and the nearly LPs and the nearly deserts. All above, we'll see how so-called runners can be exciting, introducing and heroic. Step forward seconds, your time in the spotlight has come at last.
Ask yourself, who was the first person to run a sub 4 minute mile? His name was Roger Bannister, and in 1954, at age 25, he managed to run a mile in 3 minutes 59.4 seconds. This feat has been spoken about for years, and Roger Bannister's name will forever be synonymous with this event. But who was the second person to do it? Well, oddly enough, the second person to run a sub 4 minute mile was an Australian man called John Landy. He broke Bannister's record just 3 weeks later with the time of 3 minutes 57.9 seconds, nearly 2 seconds faster. This record would stand for over 3 years. During the 1956 Melbourne Olympics, Landy stopped during the final of the 1,500 metres to check on another runner, Ron Clark, who had fallen whilst leading the race. Incredibly, after setting off again, Landy made up the large deflict that resulted from his sporting acts, and he went on to win the gold medal, a true legend. Which is the highest mountain on planet Earth? Mount Everest, obviously, at a height of 29,029 feet. But which is the second highest? Any of us?
Is it, I don't know.
I'll put you out of your misery, Mess. K2 claims that spot, and although not as high as Mount Everest, it is said to be more difficult to climb. At a height of 28,251 feet, it is nicknamed the Savage Mountain, and only around 300 people have reached the summit, as opposed to around 3,000 people who have reached the summit of Everest. 77 people are known to have died trying to climb K2, so it has one of the highest fertility ratios of any mountain. Oddly enough, K2 is second in this respect too, as the mountain Annapurna 1, also in the Himalayas, claims the top spot for being the most deadly. One more thing. The name K2 comes from the people who mapped and surveyed it in the first place, Thomas Montgomery, during the Great Trigonometric Survey of the 19th century. In the Karakoram range, the mountain K1 was soon known by its local name, Mashabran, but K2 was considered so remote, not even the locals gave it a name, so it remains known as K2. Peak 15 in the range, which might well have been known as K15, was actually named after the leader of the Great Trigonometric Survey. His name was Mr. George Everest.
Right, time for some more music. Hold on to your hats as this one is a belter.
Put your hands into the fire. Come on, come on.
You've just heard Watch Me, Safe and Sound, and Into the Fire.
One of the things that makes us Winterfold is the charity work we do, and this year we have teamed up with Lend With Care project. Each term in our packs we have a meeting to discuss entrepreneurs over in less advantaged parts of the world and decide who we will lend money to. A pot of money is distributed amongst several of these hard-working entrepreneurs, and after a time they are able to make the money back to us and return the loan to us, so we are able to lend it to someone else in a similar situation. We caught up with Mr. Shaw, who is driving this scheme here at Winterfold, to find out more about it. What is Lend With Care and why do we support it?
Lend With Care is a charity that supports people from around the world, but it's a bit different. Rather than just giving people money, what Lend With Care does is it lends them money, and they use it to help with their business or whatever it is that they're doing, and then they pay it back. So why do we support it? I think it's, well, A, it's different, and B, it allows us to actually learn about the things that people need to make a difference to their lives.
Who does it support?
Lots and lots of entrepreneurs from around the world, usually in developing countries. We've supported people in Vietnam, the Philippines, Cambodia, the list goes on.
How does the money get back to us once we've reinvested it?
So pretty much every single time that we've ever lent any money to Lend With Care, the people have paid it back to Lend With Care, who then put it back into our account, and so that we can choose some other people to help.
How can the wider public get included?
All you need to do is go to lendwithcare.org, have a look at, see how it works, and then you can start to set up your own account, and it takes £15, that's all, that's the minimum amount to invest in somebody. In the Shaw family we've done this as birthday presents and Christmas presents, putting a voucher in their birthday card, and now we've got lots of money, and for many years we've supported them with care.
Is there anything else you can tell us about Lend With Care?
As I say, it's just a different type of charity. You learn an awful lot. You'll feel like you actually know the people that you are supporting, rather than just handing over money to some vague charity. I think it's a wonderful charity, and I've supported it for years.
Thank you for doing that interview.
No problem at all, it's a pleasure.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw, for that interview. We recorded a few days ago on our work with Lend With Care. Remember, if you want to get involved, please go to www.lendwithcare.org and sign up.
have another feature hosted by our very own Ed, where he will be opening your minds and getting your thoughts buzzing. Here's Ed!
Hi everyone, this is Ed and welcome to the weird and wonderful world of wow. I will be introducing you to a few facts and from around the world that we make you stop and think, wow. Last time we did the human body, so this time let's look at the sea. Number 1, the ocean covers 71% of the Earth's surface. It also holds about 96.5% of the Earth's water. That's a volume of 320 million cubic miles. Wowzers. That is a lot of water. Number 2, there is enough salt in the ocean to cover the whole surface of the Earth. If the salt in the ocean could be removed and spread evenly over the Earth's land surface, it would form a layer more than 500 feet thick, about the height of a 40-story office building. Whoa! Number 3, the sea is home to the world's largest invising structure. The Great Barrier Reef measures around 2,600 kilometers. It can even be seen from the moon. Number 4, about 70% of the oxygen we breathe is produced by the oceans. And the last one, number 5, the deepest known area of the Earth's ocean is known as the Mariana Trench. The deepest point measures about 11 kilometers. That's a long dive down. Thanks for joining me for Winterfold's Weird and Wonderful Worlds of Wow. See you next time.
Right, music time. You guessed it. Here are some absolute belters.
Hi, this is Mez. Here's one more quick fact to make you say wow. If you lay your intestines end to end and spread them over the size of a tennis court, you'd die. Here's Cast. Welcome back, listeners. You just heard the Mighty Ocean colour scene with The Day We Caught the Train, the Lars with There She Goes, and the Lightning Seeds with Sugar Coated Iceberg.
On with the show, here's a new interactive feature called Riddle Me This. We will set you a listener of Riddle Me This literal thinking puzzle. And all you have to do is to try to work it out the answer by the end of the show. We hope you extend this soon to tweet in and get some real answers on air. But we'll let you have the answer before you go. It's just a little bit of fun.
So here's the puzzle. An elderly woman lives on the 35th floor and hates taking the stairs. Every day she takes the elevator down to the lobby floor to go to work. When she comes home from work, she takes the elevator to the 25th floor and walks the rest of the way up. Except for days when it rains. Those days she walks the last 10 flights of stairs. Why does she walk the last 10 flights if she hates it so much? I'll read it once more. An elderly woman lives on the 35th floor and hates taking the stairs. Every day she takes the elevator down to the lobby floor to go to work. When she comes home from work, she takes the elevator down to the 25th floor and walks the rest of the way up, except for days when it rains. Those days she takes the elevator all the way home. Why does she walk the last 10 flights if she hates it so much? Have a think about it. It's easy when you probably know, literally. Are all the details important? Probably. No clues, not yet.
Sing with me. That is where I'm at. I'll blow you away. I'll blow you away.
While you're in a puzzling mood, let's hit you with another of our new features, RockBusters. Welcome to RockBusters. You will hear a cryptic clue of a band or artist, and it's up to you to work out who it is. Here's an example. I was walking through Texas one day and I fell in a puddle and got in the middle of my leg damp. Initials are WH. Who am I describing? I was walking through Texas one day I fell in a puddle and got in the middle of my leg all damp. Initials are WH. Who am I describing? The answer is Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston. Wet knee because the knee is in the middle of my leg and I fell in a puddle and got it damp. And Houston because the capital of Texas, Whitney, is Houston. See cryptic. Right, here's a couple for you. Are you ready? That bloke who makes men's suits is really quick at his job. Initials TS. Who is the band artist? Once again. That bloke who makes men's suits is really quick at his job. Initials TS. Who is the band artist? Next one. That feline creature spends most of its time in that room built just for karate. Who's that then? Initials DC. Once again, that feline creature spends most of its time in that room built just for karate. Who's that then? Initials DC. We'll give you the answers right at the end of the show. For the record, we here at Winterfold Radio absolutely realise that the capital of Texas is Austin, not Houston, sorry.
The mighty Led Zeppelin brings us towards the end of the show, but there's just enough time to hear the feature called Did You Know? We're here to educate as well as entertain, so here it goes. Did you know an astronaut was allergic to the moon? Seems like someone had a tremendous allergy problem. During the Apollo 7 mission, astronaut Harrison Smith found out that he had a severe reaction to moon dust.
Did you know Viking men wore makeup? It is no doubt that Vikings were some of the toughest men in history books. However, they cared about their appearance enough that makeup was a part of their everyday routine.
Did you know that a jockey once won a race after he had died? Frank Hayes had was hailed in the winner at Race Belmont Park right outside New York City in 1923. However, there was a slight problem. Hayes suffered a heart attack and died in the middle of the race, so the celebration wasn't exactly sweet.
Did you know strength is the longest word in the English language with one vowel? The word contains 9 letters, 8 of them being consonants.
Did you know that the actor Daniel Radcliffe went through nearly 70 wands and 160 pairs of glasses during the making of the Harry Potter films? According to The Hollywood Reporter, the production team for the 7 films also made 30 versions of Salazar Slytherin's locket, 250 paintings of the marble staircase, 900 memory vials for the cabinet in Dumbledore's office, and 21,000 coins for the Gringotts bank scene, just for the last 2 films alone. Talk about magic!
Did you know that the filling in Kit Kat made from damaged Kit Kats, the folks at the Kit Kat factory sure know how to recycle whenever a Kit Kat bar somehow made imperfect during the production line, air bubbles or some other issue, the chocolate bar isn't thrown out. Instead, they are grinded up into a fine paste and turned into a filling that's then incorporated back into the production process to create a new Kit Kat bar. Amazing! You've just heard Times Like These and Gim Shelter.
Well, there we have it, another show wrapped up, but before we go, just time to give you a few answers from Riddle Me This. Feature, of course, RockBusters. The first Riddle Me This, here's the puzzle one last time. An elderly woman lives on the 35th floor and hates taking the stairs. Every day she takes the elevator down to the lobby floor to go to work. When she comes home from work, she takes the elevator to the 25th floor and walks the rest of the way up, except for days when it rains. Those days she takes the elevator all the way home. Why does she walk the last 10 flights if she hates it so much? Well, here's the answer. An elderly woman is too small to reach the button for the 35th floor. She can only reach the 25th floor button. On the days when it rains, she uses her umbrella to hit the button for the 35th floor, so she can go all the way in the elevator. We told you the little details were important.
And the RockBusters. Remember we gave you 2 cryptic clues to identify of a band or artist, and you had to work out who it was? The first one, that bloke who makes men's suits really quickly at his job. Initials, TS. That was Taylor Swift. A tailor is someone who makes men's suits, and he did it quickly, so he was swift. Second one, that feline creature spends most of its time in the room built just for karate. Who was that then? Initials, DC. It was Dojo Cat. A room built for karate is a dojo, and a feline creature is a cat. Simple when you know.
A big thank you to everyone who has helped put this show together, and a huge thank you to all of those who have helped and stuck with us until the end.
We really hope you've enjoyed listening to, maybe even learned something along the way.
We also hope everyone has enjoyed their visit to us today and hope to see you again.
Anyone who has heard the show before knows that there is only one way that it can finish, and that is with the immortal genius of the cult and She Sells Sanctuary. This show was brought to you by Claudia, Ed, Felix, Meredith and Lily, with maybe a tad of influence from Mr. Lawson, and has been a Radio Winterfold production.